Welcome to the United States of Tiffany. Our commentary offers a humorous take on wrestling. Please note, we're not bullying or attacking the wrestlers. We're engaging with the choreographed sport and its storylines. Our jokes and observations are about the characters and storylines, not the real people behind them. Tourists and citizens alike, welcome. Enjoy the show, and remember, it's all in good fun.
I'll explain later. Hello, how are you guys doing? I hope you had a wonderful 4th of July. Hey, don't you need to go put that downstairs? All right. I hope y'all enjoyed Smackdown. I thought today was Saturday. I really did. That's how screwed up I was. My brain was not working. So I put a message out thinking we was gonna chill at 9 o'clock, and in all actuality, I was wrong because SmackDown was on, and I was like, I didn't even get to do commentary today because it's 4th of July and I had my family here, so we was chilling. My dad was outside, my uncle and my auntie was out there. Everybody was having a good old time, and we was chilling. So I didn't get to do no commentary, but I did get to watch the show from start to finish. So let's get into it. The Bloodline has been reformed, as we can see, but this time there's some new, fresh faces, minus 2 original members of the Bloodline 3.0. It's 3.0 because the first iteration of the Bloodline, can you turn down a little bit, was Roman, Main Event Jey Uso, and Big Brother Jim, right? That was the first iteration. And then the second iteration was the addition of Sami Zayn with the honorary Uso, right? And then now we had the third version of the Bloodline with Solo, Tama Tonga, Tonga Loa, and Jacob Fatu. Now we got Bloodline, what is it now, 4.0? Bloodline 4.0. My God. 4 iterations of the Bloodline within 5 years? That's crazy. Anywhoosies, this is the 4th rendition of the Bloodline, and now we have Tonga Loa, who has returned, Hikuleo, who is now called Tala Tonga, and then you have JC No Nick Mateo. These are the family, as Solo Sikoa puts it, and they will protect their champion at all costs, and he is the United States champion. But he did not come by that easy, because this episode of SmackDown kicked off with Solo Sikoa arriving, thinking he was getting ready to have the celebration of a lifetime, and he ended up suffering an ass whooping inside of his own car. He got pulled out the car, beat up. Tonga Loa beat up. JC Mateo beat up. I didn't see Tala Tonga. He wasn't there. He beat up everybody and beat the brakes off of Solo. Had it not been for security and, of course, Nick Aldis, these men would have been decimated by Jacob Fatu all by his lonesome. And he was yelling and making it very clear that he was all gas and no brakes. And it was bam. Y'all know what I mean? bam. You know what I mean? It was very intentional. And we love that for us. Now, we moved on from there because the King of the Ring had something he had to say. Cody Rhodes came out there to speak, and he made it very clear that he knew the stakes of what he had to do to become King of the Ring and to get back to John Cena. He had to leave a piece of himself in Columbus, I think they said that he was in, to fight Jey Uso. He left a piece of himself in Saudi fighting Randy Orton. And then Randy Orton came out. And Randall made it very clear that while for now, their song and dance was going to be put on pause. But he told Cody he wanted him to promise him that he was going to kick John Cena's ass and get that championship back. Because he said the reason why he was able to go on to be King of the Ring was because he hesitated. He said he was supposed to do whatever was in his power to get back to getting that championship and righting the wrong of John Cena humiliating him in his hometown and in front of his wife and his children. And of course, he hesitated. Right when he had Cody Rhodes dead to rights, down, ready to go, Randy Orton hesitated. And he said Cody didn't. Cody pulled the trigger. Cody was vicious. Cody was targeting. And he said, we'll get back to that when we need to. But for now, I respect you for pulling the trigger and being the guy. Because that's the kind of tenacity you're going to need going up against John Cena. And while all of this was happening, none other than your favorite hating ass nigga. He a hating ass nigga is the best way to explain it. Your favorite hating ass nigga, Drew McIntyre, popped up out of nowhere. Ain't nobody call on this man or nothing. He just popped up. You know, we out there looking at these two future Hall of Famers talking, get ready to go at it, and all of a sudden, boom, here come motherfucking Drew McIntyre, hater of the year, nigga. Just he literally said that these two men in the ring was just big up in themselves. No, you hang up first. Oh no, you hang up first. Oh no, you hang up first. That's not how that went down, honestly. I can't stress enough how that's not how that went down. These guys were talking, but it wasn't a situation of them loving on each other so much that it was just overwhelming. It wasn't like that at all. In fact, it was quite the opposite. Randy Orton was very clear and intentional with what he said. He was making sure that one, Cody got back to the mountaintop, and then he wanted him to understand that he was going to be somebody that he was going to have to look to fight once he got back to that mountaintop. But of course, in Drew McIntyre fashion, he found a way to weasel his way in, not only to knock down Randy Orton by calling him a beta male, which is very red pill talk of you, Drew McIntyre. He then goes in on Cody. Before that, though, he talks down to Randy, says he's lost his edge. Now he's not the guy he used to be. He's not the Viper. He's not the guy that would kick a man's head off at moment's notice. He's nothing to fear. Viper this, Viper that. You've lost your edge. Let's go to you, Cody. Super Cody. Let's go to you. I want you to beat John Cena, he says. I need you to beat John Cena, he says, because I'm going to be the first one to destroy everything that you required. He said, you and I have parallel paths. We've walked similar paths, parallel paths, back to the WWE. The only difference is, you got here, remained on top, and never looked back. Whereas Drew McIntyre has had a lot of ups and a lot of downs. A lot of those downs are his fault. But to hear him tell it, it's everybody else's fault and never his. With all that being said, as he continued to berate Cody and talk down to Randy Orton, he suffered an RKO for his trouble. Something he rightfully earned, if you ask me. Now, there were a few developments that we found out over here on Smackdown. Okay. Now, what we had saw was that none other than the Queen of the Ring, Jade Cargill, was going to be scheduled to be on SmackDown today. But it was an interesting setup for this particular moment. You see, Tiffany Stratton was going to be scheduled for Queen for Evolution, which I thought was very interesting, seeing as how she just defended her championship this past Friday, the Friday before last. So I was very curious. I said, huh, so Tiffany's going to work. Nice. Seeing as how it is an all women's PLE, it looks like it's all hands on deck for this PLE. They gave Tiffany Stratton the option to pick who her next opponent was going to be. So she came out there and was talking and giving a speech and blah, blah, blah. And that's when Jade Cargill came out, dressed in all her queenly garb. She made it very clear that not only was she the Queen of the Ring after she went to war with one of the greatest of all time in Asuka, but not only was she conquered the Queen of the Ring, but she didn't care who was headed to SummerSlam. She was going to take everything. And that's when Tiffany Stratton was like, oh, Jade, I have a surprise for you. And all of a sudden, none other than Trish Stratus's music hits. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? So, of course, Trish Stratus comes down in her one piece. If it ain't a one piece, it's usually some leggings, a cowboy hat, and a black t-shirt of some kind, and some boots. Okay, that is her signature look. But this time she decided to wear a pink one piece. It was cute. She had a nice little cowboy hat on. It was cute. She came down there talking cash shit. Not really, but it was more like Tiffany Stratton was like, I'm going to pick Trish Stratus for my opponent at Evolution. And I was like, all right. All right, whatever. So Trish is like an 8-time women's champion would be nice. And Tiffany was like, don't get it twisted, sis. I respect you and everything, but you ain't going to SummerSlam. I am. I'm gonna beat you. You're just gonna be beaten by me. A legend who is now on the way to full-on retirement. And I'm going to have another win under my belt over, not only am I going to have a win, but I'm going to have a win over one of the greatest of all time. That's just going to solidify me as one of the best champions and that the WWE runs on Tiffy time. I said, cool. Love that for you. So, of course, backstage, Jade Cargill sees Tiffany, or rather Trish Stratus, and they have a little conversation. But because she don't keep her head on the swivel, Naomi was able to bust her in her back and bust her head up against them stacked carts right there and cackled her way and told her, you really should be proceeding with caution. Not only that, but Naomi's briefcase is low-key fire, and I want y'all to see what this briefcase look like. It's absolutely one of the coolest branded briefcases they have ever made. I'm so glad they gave Naomi all the creative that she wanted in this. I love this. This briefcase is legit. If they got this on the shop, I'm ordering it. Hold on, because I'm ordering that. I am ordering that briefcase. Do you understand me? Do you hear me? Ooh, they got tumblers and stuff. That's cute. Hold on. Let's go by Superstore. Shall we? We shall. Anywhoosies. Naomi has now earned herself a match at Evolution. So for those of you who were looking for something that's got a little bit more teeth in it, that's a little bit more stank, look no further, because Naomi and Jade are going to be fighting it out in a no-holds-barred match. That's right. No holds barred. Okay? The girls are going to be fighting. So Evolution now has a real feud on the card, which is interesting. It's going to be fun to watch. It's going to be fun, amazing, and we love that. Yes, it is. Oh, they want $250. Oh, it's because it's autographed. But they want $250 for this briefcase. Oh my God. $250 for a briefcase is crazy. But I want that briefcase. Anyways. So, Tiffany, Jade, they all had their moment. The best match of the night happened between FRAXIOM and ANDRADE and FENIX. This match was so good. It was overwhelming. It was still, you just were losing your shit the whole time watching this. Everybody was just doing the absolute most the whole time in this match. But not only that, it was just shit was going down this whole time. I was like, oh my God. What is going on? This match was so intricate. It was so much high flying, so much drama, so much intrigue. I highly recommend that if you recorded this, that you go back and watch it, because it is so good. It's one of those matches that you'll always remember because of the way they went about it. It was so good. I loved this match. Loved it to death. Now, the only other match that was on the card was a triple threat tag team match. And this happened early in the night, right after Cody Rhodes and Randy's segment. In this match, it was Alexa Bliss, it was Charlotte Flair, B-Fab, Michin, and it was the Her Service. They were all competing to be able to compete at Evolution in the tag team match. Okay. Now, when this idea was first presented to Charlotte, she wasn't exactly on board. In fact, she straight up cut it down. No, I don't want to do this. We're not doing it. And of course, your homegirl was like, sis, I'm not trying to be your friend. I'm trying to win gold. And the only way to do that is to team up with you. Now, you don't want to win gold? That's your business. But I do. So which is it? Now, at first, Charlotte thought Tiffany Stratton was offering her a title shot. She was picking her. But of course, Tiffany not going to pick her. Tiffany like, girl, I done been there, done that with you. It's over. It's over. We're done. We're done. So, they had to give her a big dose of reality juice. Tiffany was long gone worrying about Trish Stratus. And while Charlotte Flair is in the dumps of her career at the moment, per storyline, Alexa Bliss is trying to offer her the olive branch that could pull her up. And Alexa did speak some facts. Alexa says, sis, right after Charlotte Flair said, I don't like sharing the storyline. I don't like sharing the limelight. I don't like sharing. I'm the queen. I'm by myself. She was like, sis, your ass hasn't been in the limelight for a long time, dear. Calm down. Now, what I'm trying to do is help you get back to it. But if you can't see it, that's on you. So, of course, Charlotte had to think about it, because Nick Aldis was like, baby, listen, sometimes you don't know what's best for you. And a lot of times I do. Let me do my job and you will have this opportunity. This is a big opportunity. You need to take advantage of it. Alexa Bliss is like, girl, let's go do this. We ain't got to be friends to be tag team champions. And don't. Charlotte was like, okay, fine. Fine. I'll do it. Just make sure you stay out of my way. And Nick told Alexa Bliss, girl, good luck with that one. And Bliss was like, thanks. So they went out there. They had their match. And it seemed like the girls was on one accord. They were able to successfully compete with each other. There wasn't a lot of drama. There was a little pushback, but not a lot of drama. And ultimately, Bliss was able to hit Twisted Bliss on both Piper and Alba. And that's how she was able to secure the win for her team. So now Charlotte and Bliss will be headed to Evolution as one of the tag teams who will compete against Raquel and Roxanne for the women's tag team championships. Oh, look at them embracing. Look at the love. We shall see how this all plays out. But it's a very interesting storyline nonetheless. Now, we saw backstage that Damian Priest was giving Aleister Black a little fair warning. He was like, listen, we all know what you did with Truth. And Aleister was like, listen, as far as I'm concerned, we're square. Me and Truth are square. He was like, well, you know what? Truth don't feel like that. And I can tell you right now, to give you a heads up, Nick Aldis has made it a match for you and Truth to fight next week. Aleister Black was like, cool, whatever. He was like, basically, they looking at each other like, do we have a problem? And Aleister was like, listen, violence begets violence, Damian. And I know you're the good guy, so you're sticking up for everybody. But you really should mind your business. And Damian was like, who told you I was the good guy, babe? Who said that? Who said that? And who told you Truth was a good guy? Nobody. Nobody said that. He was like, what you need to be more concerned with is your match with Truth. Because just because he a little doesn't mean he ain't a formidable opponent, baby. He was like, yeah, all right, Damian. And he was like, Black. Period. I love a good mess. Now, there was one other match on the card. It was the YS6 versus, I want to say, God, who did they go up against? I do not remember. I was watching the show, but I don't remember their match specifically. So my bad. My bad. You know? Let me see. Oh, they went up against Montez Ford, Johnny Gargano, Humberto, and Chris Sabin. So one member of each of the tag teams went up against the YS6. And the YS6 beat them. So now they have earned a title shot against the Street Profits once again. Hey, Don, we was talking about who went up against the YS6 today. I hate to say this, but for those of you who are Street Profits fans like me, you need to prepare yourself because I believe that next week they are dropping those titles to the YS6. If they don't, it's going to be very, very interesting, but I believe that they are. And I hate that the Street Profits have to drop those titles to the YS6, but at the same time, I low-key understand it, but then I don't, because the Street Profits having the tag team titles reinvigorated that tag team division and really made it fun to watch, and everybody clamoring for the titles once they had them. Really was an interesting time. Their matches are great. Their cut promos are good. I really like the Street Profits at the top of the tag team division. So I'm going to be sad if they lose those titles to the YS6, which I hate to say that, but I just see them losing this title. And I really hate that. But It's true, unfortunately. At least that's where my brain is going, and I could be wrong because I've been wrong before, but that's just how I feel. I don't know why you brought up Tiffany title reign, but sure, we can talk about it. Hello, Tiffany's title reign is better than Io Sky's because she had more challengers like Jade and Naomi. And if Bianca Belair returns, that's another big one. I disagree. Um, Tiffany Stratton haven't really had any challengers for her championship except for Nia Jax. She didn't really have a challenger in Naomi because Naomi won Money in the Bank. And even prior to that, Naomi wasn't going after Tiffany Stratton. The only challengers Tiffany Stratton had and the only title defenses that Tiffany Stratton had was none other than Nia Jax. And of course, her fight with Charlotte Flair. She hasn't had any other challengers. She's had people who have stepped to her, but she hasn't had any other challengers. Now, Io Sky, on the other hand, has not only had to defend her title or compete and defend her championship against Rhea Ripley, she has defended her title against Rhea and Bianca Belair. Prior to that, she was defending her title against Liv, if I recall. Io Sky has had formidable opponents. I think you're melding Tiffany's time with Nia Jax and her run during that time before she got the title along with her title reign because Tiffany hasn't really done anything as champion. And to her credit, that is due to her booking, which that's their business, but they both at this point in their careers as champions have significantly slowed down. But Tiffany has recently defended her title, whereas Io hasn't. So that's the only difference between the two of them. But Io has had more challengers in her title reign than Tiffany Stratton has. So if you believe her title reign is better, that is your personal business. But I don't see it that way. I find Tiffany Stratton's title reign to be boring, but I don't really have Io Sky's title reign any better. I do think her matches are much, much better than Tiffany's. I don't think her feuds are better. I don't think Tiffany Stratton's feuds are good either, if we're being fair. But I would prefer to watch Io Sky than to watch Tiffany Stratton, if I'm being honest. The parallels have been the reigns have been parallel to this point. I wouldn't say that. I mean, they both had big marquee matches at Mania, but Io had the most to lose as champion, whereas Tiffany was going up against Charlotte. True enough, she had a better shot of retaining her title than Io did. So I wouldn't say it was parallel because Tiffany hasn't had any other challengers other than Nia and Charlotte. And Io has. Io has been defending her title against multiple people. Rhea will be winning Women World Championship to Evolution. I don't care. I don't care if she wins. Honestly, I don't want her to win, but I don't care if she wins. I like Tiffany as champion. That's fine. I have no issues with that. That's your personal opinion. But I'm not a fan of Tiffany Stratton, so I could care less about Tiffany. If you love her, that's fine. That's up to you. You're entitled to like who you like. I'm not telling you who to like. I'm saying as far as work goes, from this point, from Mania to now, yeah. I'll say from Mania to now, yeah. But Tiffany has had a title defense and Io hasn't. Since Mania, I don't think she's defended her title since Mania. So, yeah. God, I hope not. Well, I don't know. You never know. You never know. But I hope they don't because I really want to see Io and Asuka battle it out at SummerSlam rather than having Io and Rhea battle it out again. It's no shade to them. They fight like it's the end of the world, which I love. But at the same time, I really want to watch Io and Asuka fight. I want to see it. I can't wait. I got good seats. Period. You're gonna have a good time. I think that Evolution is going to be great. And speaking of Evolution, before we get off of SmackDown, ladies and gentlemen, this match happened. It was Jacob FATU versus Solo Sikoa. And this all happened because of Jacob Fatu's attack on Solo. Now, at the end of the night, Solo and Jimmy did beat the new Bloodline. They beat Mateo and all of them. They beat them. But it did not stop the rest of the Bloodline from coming out there and beating the crap out of Jacob. After they won, they tried to put Solo through a table. They didn't like that. So Tonga came out there, got Jacob down, and then Hikuleo came and took Jacob out as well. And then it was a family onslaught. They put Jacob through this table. Jimmy was already laid out, and this was your closing scene for SmackDown. And SmackDown has officially gone back to 2 hours. So thank God that we're not sitting up till 11 o'clock watching SmackDown. But from what I hear, USA Network really enjoyed SmackDown being at 3 hours, especially after that first month when things really started to hit their stride. And from what I understand is that this switching from 2 to 3 hours might be a regular thing. I don't know, but we shall see. Tiffany needs to go to different brands to defend her championship. That will be more interesting. Her championship is a branded championship. If she were to go to Raw, that means EO would go to SmackDown. And it doesn't make sense for her to defend her title on different brands unless there isn't a title on that brand. Okay. All right. So it has been made official. John Cena will be facing off against Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam. One can only hope that Cody Rhodes will be able to capture the championship once again and end this tyranny of John Cena as champion. But you never know. He just might keep it all the way up until that last Saturday night main event in December. You never know. But Evolution has had its matches added. And here we go. Evolution is scheduled for July 13th on Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 4 p.m. Pacific. It is going to have an Evolution Battle Royal. Whoever wins in this Battle Royal will become the number one contender and will earn a championship match at Clash in Paris. This will depend on what person wins and what brand they're winning from. So if they're winning from SmackDown, I suspect they will be the number one contender for the SmackDown Championship. If they're winning from Raw, I suspect they will be the number one contender for the Raw Championship. You got me? Cool. Moving on. First match that was booked for Evolution was JC Jane defending her NXT Championship against Jordynne Grace. However, there's a caveat in this match as well, and I'm going to explain because WWE has been interweaving all of their people into TNA, and this is starting to become a part of the norm because now there's a new match added to Slammiversary, which happens about a week after Evolution does. And in that match, I'll show you in a second. It's for the TNA Knockouts title, but we're going to get to that in a minute. But Jordynne Grace is going to be facing off against JC Jane for the NXT Championship. But not so fast, because at 3 p.m. on Saturday, Jordynne Grace will be facing off against two of the other members of Fatal Influence, along with the newcomer Blake Monroe, aka Mariah May. These girls will be competing in a tag team match at the Great American Bash, and then the next night, JC Jane is going to be facing off against Jordynne Grace. They're going to be working very hard this weekend, okay? Then the next match that was booked for this particular PLE is the Fatal 4-Way for the women's tag team titles. And according to Nick Aldis, Roxanne and Raquel both have to defend their titles against three different teams. one SmackDown team, one NXT team, and one other Raw team. The SmackDown team has already been determined. It will be Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair competing in this tag team match. Now, you can speculate who will be competing on Raw, but I suspect that it will more than likely be Nikki and Brie Bella taking that Raw slot, and then you'll have a team from NXT, which I think would be Izzy and Tatum. But it could be anybody. You never know. I'm a big fan of Io Sky, and even if it hurts to see her lose the women's championship. Okay. Love that for you, babes. So we'll see as to who is going to fill up these slots for WWE's Evolution Tag Team match. And of course, the Women's World Championship is on the line, and Io Sky will be defending her title against none other than Bloody Rhea Ripley. I don't know who's going to win in this match, but I like them both. So I'm curious as to how this match is going to play out. You have to remember, Rhea Ripley has never beaten Io Sky. Io has had her number at every turn. So it would be a major win for Rhea Ripley, a minor upset actually for Rhea Ripley, and just another day at work for Io Sky. Moving on, ladies and gentlemen. Let me see what else we got. Trish Stratus has been chosen to be Tiffany Stratton's opponent for the WWE Women's Championship. She will compete, and we'll see if the legend herself has another run in her as a title holder, or is Tiffany Stratton going to ease her way past and really solidify herself as a formidable champion going up against one of the greats. I don't know. That's your business. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not interested in this match because I already have a sneaking suspicion that Trish isn't going to win it. So it's not going to matter to me about Tiffany facing off against Trish Stratus. This looks like a throwaway match to me, and that's how I'm going to receive it. Definitely going to be one of those matches where I'm just like, I'm going to go get me a snack. No shade. Jade and Naomi, however, have bigger fish to fry. This is probably going to be one of your biggest feuds and rivalries on this card. And they have made it so that it will be very interesting to watch. Jade and Naomi's match is a no-holds-barred match. They're going to be competing. Now, the last time that Jade and Naomi faced off in the ring, it was at WrestleMania, and Naomi suffered a loss. She ate that pin. Now, Jade and Naomi are facing off again at Evolution next week. We'll see how it plays out, but I'm putting my money on Naomi. This is a no-holds-barred match, which basically means anything goes. And while Jade is a formidable opponent and currently the queen of the ring, she does not have the veteran status, the prowess, or the experience that Naomi has. And being as how this will be her first no-holds-barred match, she gonna learn the hard way to proceed with caution. You feel what I'm saying? For now, that is your lineup for Evolution. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 matches for Evolution currently. The card is booked out. So we shall see. Io, she beat Rhea again. Okay. I'll be seated, child. I know, honey. Now, like I told y'all, TNA is an integral part of this, and a lot of people seem to be forgetting it. They're not really paying attention to TNA, and you should, because TNA is being interwoven into this. And in order for you to really understand what's going on, you got to follow everything. So we're going to start off with what I told y'all. Great American Bash is going to start off the weekend. It is on Saturday at 3 p.m. And when it comes to TNA, especially the women's division, this is where you need to pay attention. So like I told you, JC Jane will not be competing. She's going to be there with her homegirls, and you're going to see Fatal Influence compete against Jordan Grace and Blake Monroe. Then after that, the next night, you're going to see Jordan Grace compete against JC Jane for the NXT Championship. If Jordan Grace wins, or if JC Jane wins, then one of them will face off against Masha Slamovich on July 20th in a winner-take-all scenario. This is title versus title. So if Masha wins, she becomes, not only does she retain her TNA Knockouts title, but she also becomes the WWE NXT Women's Champion, and vice versa for JC or Jordan. They both would be dual champions in WWE. This is history making. There have never been a dual champion for separate promotions in WWE that was recognized on WWE television. That has never happened. Has there been dual branded champions? Yes. But dual promotion champions, especially with a promotion that you used to compete with, that has never happened. And now it is set to happen. Whoever wins is going to make history and literally solidify themselves in the books. I don't know how this is going to play out, but you got a lot going on over the next couple of weeks with wrestling. And speaking of TNA, let's go over this TNA Slammiversary card, because this past Thursday, they added at least 4 new matches to the Slammiversary card. It's massive, but we're going to get through it piece by piece like we always do. So let's start off at the beginning. TNA Slammiversary is always their biggest event next to Bound for Glory. This is what they would be the equivalent to one of their big 4. More specifically, they equate this to a WrestleMania-esque style show. Now, of course, it isn't as big as Mania, but for TNA, this is their big kahuna. This is their big guy, their full stop, right? Let me see what Donnie said. Donnie said, oh, that's why it's promoted Jordan finna take that. You see what I'm saying? So because of that, we got a lot going on. This show is going to be in Long Island, New York, which is very interesting because Matt Cardona isn't on this card yet, and I feel like he should be. But we'll see, because this past Thursday, not only did Matt Cardona beat Eddie Edwards of the System, but he also got attacked. By Dark State. Now, I don't know what they thought they were going to do with that or what that meant for them, but it didn't really do anything for me. And Dark State is losing their steam, in my opinion, and I really need them to find something else to do. They had a really strong debut, a really strong run against the family, but after that, they just fizzled out and were pulled from television. It really didn't do anything for them. So I don't know what they're doing, but they better figure it out, and fast. But let's get to this card for Slammiversary. If you care, Moose is facing off against Leon Slater, and I, for one, hope that Leon Slater gets the X Division Championship. Moose doesn't need it. He shouldn't have had it in the first place. He doesn't compete in the X Division like an X Division wrestler does, and he just isn't that good to me in order to be competing in this division. He doesn't have the high-flying capability or the speed or the agility to compete in this division, but they gave him the championship only because the System is the biggest faction and one of the only factions outside of the Northern Armory, and so that's why he has a title, because he couldn't be, obviously, TNA champion. They had to give that to Joe Hendry. Now they have it on Trick Williams. But currently, Leon Slater is in a fight with Moose, and hopefully Leon Slater will will out at Slammiversary and become the new X Division champion, and we can get done with Mush Mouth Moose. Moving on, the big kahuna is the TNA World Championship, and Trick Williams has been running around, running his mouth for months on end as champion ever since Battleground, I believe. And Joe Hendry has returned, but Mike Santana is also having his eyes on this title. So not only does Trick Williams have to worry about an old foe, he also has to worry about a new one in Mike Santana. Mike Santana believes that he's the standard of TNA, and he earned that moniker through his fights with none other than Josh Alexander. But Joe Hendry is the heartbeat of TNA. So I don't know what the Heart and the Standard are going to do against Trick Willie. But Trick Williams always has a trick up his sleeve. And seeing as how he has a nice little alliance with First Class, I imagine that they will find themselves getting involved in this match as well. But they also have a match on this card. First Class are going after their first ever TNA World Tag Team Championships. But it's not just going to be a regular match. This is going to be a ladder match. Right now, the Nemeths, Nick and Ryan Nemeth, are the tag team champions, and they will be facing off against 2 former multi-time tag team champions in the Hardys, and of course the former champions in the Rascals and the newcomers in First Class. This is a merry band mix of people, but I'm not mad at it. I'm curious as to how this match is going to play out, especially with Matt and Jeff. They're much older, and as far as I'm concerned, them being in ladder matches is dangerous. But do whatever makes you happy, babe. Moving on, the TNA Knockouts Tag Team Champions are on the line. Elegance Brand are the tag team champions, and Inspiration have sprung up and returned and decided that they want the titles back. They are a former TNA Knockouts tag team champion themselves. So we'll have to wait and see. Not to mention, Ash by Elegance does have a future title shot for the TNA Knockouts Championship, which I don't think she has been able to utilize yet. I'm not quite sure. If I'm wrong, please correct me. Not the Battle of the Brothers. So we have that match on the card. And we also have this match that I mentioned earlier. Masha Slamovich is set to face off against one of these women, Jordan Grace or JC Jane. It could be either one of them that faces off against Masha. But whoever wins is title for title, which means that they would become not only TNA Knockouts champion, but WWE Women's NXT champion as well. And that is history making, ladies and gentlemen. And finally, we've got two more matches on the card. Cedric Alexander made his debut in TNA a few weeks back, and he has tried to get Mustafa Ali to get back to his old self. He feels that he has become a tyrant, a selfish, pompous windbag who is evil, mean, and cruel. And he doesn't understand why his friend has become this way. But instead of listening to Cedric Alexander, Mustafa has decided that he wants to have a one-on-one bout with Cedric Alexander. And it was granted. So Cedric will face off against Mustafa at Slammiversary, one-on-one in the ring. Now, if you know Cedric and Mustafa's history, then you know that these two men are always going to pull out all the stops. I suspect that this match will be the best match on the card by far. These two have battled in WWE multiple times over that Cruiserweight Championship and just in exhibition matches in general. They have a chemistry that is unmatched. And when they get in this ring at Slammiversary, it's going to be pulling out all the stops, and it's probably going to be one of the best matches TNA has had on their card in a very long time. And finally, if you care, the Crimson Chin is going up against Indy Hartwell. Don't ask me why. I don't know. I don't know, dear. I have no idea. I don't like Tessa. I don't follow Tessa. When she's on TV, I check the channel. So I have no idea why this bitch is wrestling Indy Hartwell. But I'm sure everybody that is back there has forgiven Tessa Blanchard and gave her a free pass. So she is wrestling on Slammiversary too. I don't know why. They could have let Indy Hartwell go up against anybody. But given the fact that they were the last two in the Battle Royal the last time that they saw each other, I'm sure this has sparked a bit of rivalry, and they've decided to take it all the way to TNA Slammiversary. Go off, sis. Whatever makes you happy. And there, ladies and gentlemen, there. But it's like a mentor thing. Ew. There, ladies and gentlemen, is your card for Slammiversary on July 20th. Now, not only do we have to worry about NXT, Great American Bash, Saturday night, main event, and Evolution next weekend, but we also have to worry about AEW's All In Texas. Listen, I know it's too much wrestling going on, but baby, listen, I can't help that, okay? I'm just giving y'all all the tea so y'all know what to do. All right? Now, currently, the card is as follows. This is straight from AEW's website, allelitewrestling.com. Okay? I had to make sure I show y'all. She used to mentor Indy. That's unfortunate for Indy. Yeah, it's a teacher versus student vibes. I'm gonna be honest with you, babe. I really don't give a damn. Like I told y'all, I don't follow Tesla, so there's nothing that woman could do that I would actually care about. I don't know what's going on with her, and I don't really follow Indy, but that's not because I dislike her. I don't know her, but I think Indy's great. So I don't have no hatred towards Indy, none at all. I love her. I just don't give a fuck about Tessa Blanchard. So whenever she has anything going on, I'm more than likely not gonna pay attention to it. I'm just not. But since we're talking about AEW, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into it. There have been some additions to this match. Okay. Now, All in Texas, the main event more than likely will be the AEW World Heavyweight Championship, and it is Jon Moxley versus Hangman Adam Page. And instead of it just being a regular ass match, it is a Texas death match. So somebody's gonna die. Isn't it wonderful? Now, the last time AEW had a death match on TV, it was pretty embarrassing. So I'm hoping this time things go a little bit better. And it's not so embarrassing, you know? Okay. It must be green. Yeah. Anyways, moving into something that actually is very interesting. Toni Storm will be facing off against Mercedes Moné in an AEW Women's World Championship. Now, you know Mercedes just surpassed 400 plus days as TBS champion. And this is Toni Storm's fourth run as the AEW Women's Champion? I don't know who's going to win in this match, but I have a sneaky suspicion that it's going to be Mercedes. However, this is your women's match. Now, this is the interesting part. AEW's All In Texas starts at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 12 p.m. Pacific, which means All In Texas will be competing with NXT Great American Bash because they both start at the same damn time. And if you watch all of the shows, you're going to be in trouble. You're going to have a computer with one show on and a TV with another, trying to keep up. Maybe I can't. I got to focus. I can't be overstimulated like that. Now, the next match that I think is going to be very interesting is Okada versus Omega. Okada currently has the AEW Continental Championship, and Omega currently has the AEW International Championship. They want to combine the two titles. So whoever wins will become the AEW Unified Champion. And the new title is what you see in the center of the two men here. Whoever wins takes all the gold and becomes the new Unified Champion. And I'm hoping that it is Omega. I really am. Now, AEW All In Texas Men's Casino Gauntlet match has a stipulation. Whoever wins gets a guaranteed world title shot. Now, if you haven't been paying attention to MJF, he recently joined the Hurt Syndicate. I have nothing to say to that at all. But I did see him and Mark Briscoe go at it. He was calling Mark Briscoe all types of hillbilly-ish shit. And Mark Briscoe basically read him for filth on TV. But that's not the interesting part. You see, Mark Briscoe and MJF are both 1 and 2 in the gauntlet match, which means they will start this match and then they will proceed forward with however many other opponents are thrown at them, seeing as how it is a gauntlet match. I guess we'll have to wait and see who's going to proceed. Now, when it comes to the Women's Casino Gauntlet match, they haven't decided yet who is going to start off in the 1 and 2 spot. But we'll have to wait and see on that front. Last but not least, they have decided how Swerve Strickland and Will Ospreay were going to take down the Young Bucks, and they decided to give them a tag team match. It was going to be Swerve and Ospreay versus the Young Bucks at All In Texas, if you care. They have their packages up there for you. The packages are pretty reasonable with what you can get. If you want to be a challenger, a champion, or all in, it all determines what you get. Premium floor seating, or you'll just get premium lower level seating, and then they have all different kind of things added to each of the packages to make up for the amount of money you'll be spending on the show. But all in all, looking at the card, it's a pretty decent card for AEW. And I want to tell you guys one more thing. AEW broke record. They have a record ticket sales. According to Tony Khan, they have sold $2.5 million in ticket sales. So congratulations to you, AEW. Okay, congratulations for selling tickets to a show like that when you are definitely being booked heavily against. Okay, now let's double back to WWE because they have another show on the card on the same night. So after NXT Great American Bash, which is going to be Obafemi facing off against Inamura for the NXT Championship. And like I told you, this match is booked for Fatal Influence to face off against Jordan Grace and Blake Monroe. The next night, well, later on that night at about 7 p.m., Drew McIntyre will face off against Randy Orton in a regular old match. And of course, LA Knight is going to get his revenge or attempt to get his revenge on Seth freaking Rollins. Instead of it starting at 7, it's going to start at 8 nationwide. This is going to play simultaneously on NBC and Peacock. So you don't have to watch it live on NBC. You can also watch it on Peacock if you want to. And last but not least, the last match booked on Saturday Night Main Event is the main event. It is the World Heavyweight Championship. Gunther will be defending it against none other than Goldberg. And this is going to be Goldberg's last match, his retirement match, if you will. And they probably are going to put him, in the Hall of Fame. Love that for you. Did you get my bratwurst?
No, that's it. I'm not done.
You need to get that rug from down there off the floor. It's in the way. Anyways. Saturday Night Main Event. Yeah, that's going to be happening all night. We are in hell. We'll get a small reprieve after July 20th if you're not going to watch Slammiversary. And then we're heading into SummerSlam, August 2nd and August 3rd. One of the matches for SummerSlam is already booked. And we know that this more than likely is going to be on the second night, not the first. So, John Cena is set to face off against Cody Rhodes for the undisputed WWE Championship. Good luck to you, Cody Rhodes. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that is it. That is all. That is everything. Are we not tired? Interesting that they're doing another death match with Paige. It's another death match with Moxley, more specifically. Oof, Team Cringe Boys versus Team Old Cringe Books. Well, I mean, I ain't gonna lie. Swerve is gonna put on a good match with Ospreay, and I'm sure the Young Bucks will super kick their way through.
They'll super kick their way through.
They will. The way people talk about the Usos only using super kicks and how many times the Young Bucks do it is crazy, but
They love it.
Mm-hmm. Please let this be the last. I don't think it will be, babe. I don't think it will be. With all that being said, loves, listen, I know that you guys are over here. Some of you guys are new coming over here, so welcome. I appreciate you being here. But I recapped SmackDown. You might want to watch it in the replay, and you guys can hear everything that happened on SmackDown. If you guys want to, you definitely can. Follow me on all my socials so you don't miss anything. I did not do any commentary today. It was 4th of July. I had people over, so we was chilling. If you want to support the channel, you definitely can. There are 2 ways. You can become members, okay? Get discounts on merch and all types of exclusive content. And I'm going to be locking all of my older lives from the year prior on down, so you guys can always go back and listen to those through the membership. And you can also buy merch. The merch is always on the website here on YouTube, or you can go to my Fourth Wall website and purchase merch that way. Okay. It's very simple. I will pull it up here so you guys can see it. And I'm going to put it in the chat box in case you want to go. There's all types of merch up there for you guys to see. You can go in there and purchase it, and I would greatly appreciate it. It comes straight from Force Wall. They ship really fast. People love the merch that I've created before, and there's all new stuff up there now. All right. And I want you guys to go over there and support. Do it. Do it because you love me. We got all new releases up here. All you had to do was leave. T-shirts are up. The glitter thought tee is up there. All you had to do was leave mug. I got the counted stickers, counted T-shirts. And of course, I have my tourist and citizen T-shirts with my logo up there. I have the Wrestling is Real T-shirts, hoodies, mugs with some of the things I'll be saying on there, and everything in between. So if you want to support my channel and support little old me, then head on over to the merch site. I promise you won't be disappointed, and I'm trying to do better with my releases and get the stuff out there. So if you got a little bit of coin, go ahead, support. Thank y'all so much. Tomorrow I will see you guys at 9 o'clock. We are going to be discussing financial stuff tomorrow. Okay, we're gonna be talking about budgeting, breaking it down, going down to a minimalist lifestyle for just a little while. I know a lot of people like luxury and maximus and overspending, but we need to cut that back. Okay, and I'm gonna try to walk you through how to do that, how to budget, how to do a nice little planner, how to help you guys walk through keeping your money safe, start saving your money. Right? Let's talk about it. And then tomorrow we're also going to be doing some Reddit stories, some cheating Reddit stories, just some regular degular stuff, because the world is going to shit, and I fear a recession is coming. And if that happens, money is about to get very tight amongst us all. So in order to do that, we got to start protecting our assets. And I ain't talking about putting it in no bank and none of that. We about to go full old school with how we're going to start saving money around these parts. So if you want to hear all of that and just chill with us and have a good time tomorrow, make sure you come back tomorrow at 9, where we sit down, we have a nice little chit chat, we drink some wine and have some snacks, and we just kick it. And also some Reddit stories, because it's always nice to read other people's bullshit so you feel better about your life. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Okay? Not cut a slit in the mattress. Because it's about to get scurry, okay? But I'm going to help y'all out. We're going to talk about everything. Grocery shopping, how to save your money. We're going to really break it down for you so you can understand it a little bit better. All right? I'm going to do what y'all mamas did. I'm going to do it. Auntie Tip to the rescue. Bye, kids. I'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe for more wrestling content. Check out our merch and consider becoming a member for exclusive perks, special emojis, and members-only content.